There's a moment in everyone's life when everything changes. Not gradually, not over time, but in that single moment. And for us, that moment came on a Tuesday morning when I opened our mailbox and found a letter that completely changed everything. It started like every Tuesday. I was walking Mike in the morning like I always do, and I decided to go to the mailbox, and there it was. A letter telling us that we have something to collect in the post office. And in that moment I realized that something was wrong, because that sinking feeling that you have in your stomach. We both knew that we weren't waiting for any package or any delivery that was that important for us to forget about it. So that's why that feeling was starting to sink in. On my way to work, I decided to go to the post office to collect the letter. And on my way there, I kept thinking that maybe it's just something that we forget about it. Maybe it's something mundane. Maybe it's nothing. But deep down, I think I already knew. So I collected the letter and went immediately to my car, where I opened it. And there it was. You have 3 months to live. Immediately I pick up my phone, I took a picture of it, I sent it to my wife, and I called her. And in that fraction of a time, I think we both were with a lot of words, and at the same time without any words, you know what I mean? I still needed to go to work. So I turned off the call and I just drove. And as I was driving, my brain just clicked, and I start to go through every possible scenarios in my mind. Scenario 1, fight it legally. Scenario 2, try and find another place in an impossible housing market. Scenario 3, move to a different city, to a different village, to wherever. Scenario 4, ask some family or friends for money to possibly buy a house. Every scenario just went worse and added more stress and more uncertainty to the situation. And before I realized, I was already parking my car in my workplace without even remember the drive. My mind was completely off in a completely different place, And for the next 9 hours, I was physically in my workplace in an electronics store where we both work, but my mind was completely off. I was running calculations in terms of rent prices, maybe legal fees that we need to pay to dispute this. Finding a place, how much would it cost for us in terms of trips, gasoline, in terms of time. And it's funny because my wife always tells me or jokes about it that normally I keep everything to myself in my mind, running everything possible instead of trying a help factor, like writing it down or talking to someone. And sometimes she's right.
Yeah, I know, I'm right, always right.
And I thought this room was soundproof. But that day I had so many thoughts running through my head that honestly I couldn't even keep track of it. And then something completely unexpected happened that changed everything. I decided to follow her advice and call a friend. We're safe. Just to talk, to vent, basically. So I called him and I was ready to talk with him and tell him about our situation. Before I could even start telling him about our situation, he casually dropped the bomb that he was in Norway. I was like, how is that even possible? I was with you not even 2 months ago. Here I was, overthinking every possible scenario about staying in Portugal and trying to fix this problem in some kind of crazy way. And my friend just casually moved to Norway like it was just a simple thing to do. He just moved to a completely different country, like if it wasn't a big deal. And that's where my brain like completely shift gears. I stopped thinking in a way to fix the housing problem and start thinking, if he did it, maybe we should too. Maybe the solution wasn't to find a better situation in Portugal. Maybe the solution was finding a better situation anywhere else. While I was still processing all of our situation, I told my wife about how I called our friend to vent, like she told me to, and instead got this bombshell that he was in Norway. What started with me recounting this surprising conversation ended with us talking about him and his situation instead of our situation. We were discussing his decision, his courage, what it must have felt like, almost like if we were living through his possibility, you know? For me, all those scenarios that I was running in my head just disappeared. Only one remained. What if we did this? But for my wife, it was just us talking about our friend crazy decision. Nothing more. To be fair, she was still processing the idea of losing our apartment and all the logistics that this was going to take. Like moving to a different country was not even close to be in her mind in this moment, you know? But she knows me, and she knew in that moment that when I lock an idea in my head, I go into full research mode. And that's what I did. I started to overthink every detail, learn as much as possible about the possibilities, try to weight them to access the risk, the rewards. And I could see in her eyes that she realized that I wasn't talking about our friend anymore. In that moment, she realized that something in me had clicked. And that night, while she was still dealing with our immediate house crisis situation, I was already deep into research mode, and she could see that happening. The look that I have when an idea takes hold on me and won't let go. And Mike, by the way, he slept through the entire conversation. He had no clue that his life was about to change forever. Now, I need to be clear about something. We were scared. This was not a romantic getaway or a romantic conversation that we were having. We are regular people. We have regular jobs, regular concerns, regular problems, if you want to say, about money. We didn't have any trust fund and any remote work possibility or any safety net to help us about this decision. We just have each other and Mike, and a stubborn belief that we can make it through everything. So there I was, convinced that maybe I found the solution, while my wife was still processing all of the housing situation that we were facing. I had latched to this Norway idea, but she wasn't there yet. And honestly, how could she be? Moving to a different country isn't exactly a normal response to housing problems. But that's the thing about me. Once an idea takes hold, I can't let go. While she was dealing with the immediate reality of our situation, I started to do what I do best, and research. But how do you begin to plan something like this? How do you choose to move somewhere you have never been to? And most importantly, how do you convince your wife that our friend's crazy idea it's maybe the solution to our problems? Next time I'll take you through let's find a solution to let's move to Norway. And trust me, that decision involved a lot more research, a few arguments, and of course a very important decision about our four-legged family member. If you're enjoying this story, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started. And if you ever had one of those moments where everything changes in an instant, just tell me in the comments down below, because sometimes the biggest of the changes come from small moments. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to see you in our next episode.